to Mark chapter 8. I didn't know where I was going to be tonight. I started off in Ruth, and I went to Esther, and I went to Solomon, and then I was just thinking about the Bible, actually, and this verse just kind of popped in my head, and I went over and read it, and it turned into a message. So, Mark chapter 8, verse 36, it says, "For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?" And I was thinking, the main question for tonight is, can you lose someone else's soul? And in this, I mean, you can, for us Christians, you think, we just read this verse and we think, well, we're saved, so this verse doesn't really apply to us because our soul's already saved. But what about somebody else's? So you can turn over to Luke chapter 4, or Luke chapter 16, actually. And everybody knows the story of the rich man and Lazarus. It starts in verse 19, and it says, "There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died, and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died, and was buried. And in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried, and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water, and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. And beside all this, between us and you there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence." And one thing that I noticed that I've never really noticed before when I read over this was he knew who Lazarus was during his lifetime, but he never once made the effort to go talk to him. Or maybe they talked because he knew his name, because he said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus. So he knew who Lazarus was, and he knew that he sat at his gate, and he longed for the crumbs that fell off his table. But he never made that effort to go talk to him. And maybe if he would have been saved, or he would have got to know Jesus from that. But he never made that effort. And then it says in verse 27, then he said, I pray thee, therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. Abraham said unto him, They have Moses and the prophets, so let them hear them. And this is something that I've never pulled out of this story, is we always talk about he had 5 brothers, and he wanted somebody to go to them and tell him. But he never thought about his 5 brothers until he was already in hell, until it was too late. So he realized that none of the money, anything that he had in life, none of it mattered when he was in hell. And then he started thinking about the more important things in life, his family. And he didn't want them to also suffer like he is. And I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they come also into this place of torment. It's not his fault that they're not saved. But if he would have made that effort to Lazarus, which he knew who Lazarus was by name, if he would have made that effort and he would have got to know Jesus, then maybe his 5 brethren wouldn't have been in the place that they're at. But also, it didn't say that he had a family, he didn't have a wife or kid. So what I thought of is maybe his money, it had to go somewhere when he died. And I think that it probably went to his 5 brothers and to their families. And he knows what that money can do. And it's not just money, it could be anything that's keeping you from serving God. And but in this case, it was his money, and I think that it probably went to his family, which is his 5 brothers. And he knows what that can do. He knows that it can ruin your life, and that in the long run, it's not as important as being saved and doing the will of God and seeking it out. But so that's when the question struck me: can you gain the whole world, or what good is a profit if you gain the whole world and lose somebody else's soul? What if you lost your family soul, or your friends, or co-workers? And And it wouldn't be all your fault because God had dealt to every man the measure of faith. But if you was the witness that you should have been or could have been, could it have been a different story for them in the long run if they didn't end up getting saved. And that brings me to Proverbs chapter 14, verse 25. And it says, a true witness delivereth souls, but a deceitful witness speaketh lies. And in Proverbs, it's every time Proverbs in the Bible, if it says witness, it's talking about like in a legal sense, like if you're a judge and you witness, or if somebody was a witness to a crime scene. But this could also be taken in the sense that I'm taking it in, and if you're a witness to somebody, and it says a true witness delivereth souls. And so if you're a witness, or the witness that you should be, and leading by example, and people will see something different in you. And if they're just seeing the same things they do day in and day out, then they're going to think, well, they say they're a Christian, but it's not anything big because they're not living any different than I am. But if you are, and they do notice something different, I mean, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go and just shove Jesus down their throat. I mean, you can be a friend to them, and you can talk to them about other stuff, but if you get a chance, you need to sometimes bring up God or bring up Jesus. Invite them to church if they sound interested. It says a true witness delivers souls. So we could be that witness to somebody and just go talk to them here every now and then, mention something. And eventually they'll get curious and they'll ask questions if they have them. And but it says also, but a deceitful witness speaketh lies. And I thought about this for a little while, but because I didn't know really how to apply this to this message. But because it doesn't have to be, I was thinking of literal lies, like telling out of your mouth a lie. But it doesn't have to be that, because we can live a lie. We can say that we're Christians and live something totally different and it not mean anything. And so if we're living that lie, saying we're Christians, but doing everything that our friends or coworkers do that's worldly, then we're living a lie. And they're seeing that lie we're living, and they're not getting anything. They're thinking that, they say they're Christian, but it's okay. I'm good because they're doing the same stuff I'm doing. And so what good would it profit a man if he gained the whole world and lost someone else's soul, lost his friends or coworkers? Another thing is in that verse it says in Mark, what shall it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul? We think we're Christians, we read over that verse and we think, well, we're already saved, so it's okay if I worry a little bit about the world and what I got and what I'm getting. But if we're so caught up in our problems and trying to make our money, trying to do our things, that we forget to witness or be that example to somebody, it could be that they end up going to hell just because they didn't have a true example of a Christian in their life, and that could be our fault. And it doesn't have to be money. We could be worried. Our worriedness can get in the way of somebody, because if we're worried about paying the next bill or doing something else so much of the fact that we're so stressed out that we forget to be a witness and we lose our cool in situations, then that's our fault that they don't have an example. And so that's basically what I have. It's short and sweet, but hopefully it'll prick your heart a little bit and give you some questions. Is there any questions? Anybody have a question? Anything? All right, I'm done.